What's this new fancy icon up here? Should we put on our best face? Retouch? Let's retouch this bitch. Let's look good. Okay. So this will be a fun conversation because who knows? Who knows, right? And every now and then we got to dabble into the conspiracy. We got to dabble in the oh shit. Hold on. Let's make sure we do this right. So hopefully it's okay. Hopefully that's better. Hopefully that'll be better for everyone. And you know, I feel like every now and then you gotta like really you gotta dip into the conspiracy. Or just have fun with it. Sure, let's have fun with it. Because I was so angry about I was angry about the reaction last week. Guilty as charged. But there's it's interesting to think about stuff like this, like when you break it down into like I guess how it all happened versus where we are now. There's a suspect. He's not we don't know if he's the guy, but there's a suspect in custody, and there are some who are questioning the validity of who he is. Maybe he's a plant. Maybe he is the guy. Maybe he's the legit dude that that did it all. But I can't have these are one of those things where sometimes I think your imagination runs away with you, right? Like you see something, you got to apply Occam's razor to this stuff probably, but given that I am just a human being and there are many others, I think, well, mighty convenient that he had this manifesto. Like after all this careful planning and all the stuff he did to like get away and like just walk away calmly and all this, we have him like getting caught in like a McDonald's or whatever. And not only that, but he has like a manifesto, like. What's up, Trey? He's definitely a plant. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think. It literally reminds me of Black Ops Cold War's campaign. It's bizarre, right? Because that's part of the problem that fuels these things is that we have these narratives that we've played through in video games, we've watched in movies, read in books, and now that it almost seems like people are like literally acting this out. And not like, I mean, the kid doesn't come from the kid comes from it's not like he was been struggling his whole life, There does seem to be some sort of connection. It seems that he volunteered, within the healthcare system. He was involved in the healthcare system in that, he had some major surgery which could have gone wrong. But also the government. Yeah. So the stuff, the real story. The fictional stories that we've read, coupled with the stuff that the government actually does to its citizens, right, to its population. Just look back in time, Tuskegee experiments, all the MK Ultra, all that stuff that's verified and real. Gulf of Tonkin, stuff that they've openly lied about to enter, all this stuff, just leads people to think, is this just another ruse, red herring, that or whatever, that are, it's just kind of misdirection. Yeah, that's what it was. Yep. So, he's got a bone to pick. He's got a bone to pick. So that makes me think, like, maybe. What's up, Mephisto? Good to see you, brother man. I got a video for you coming out. Don't worry. Yeah, it's such a bizarre. It's such a bizarre situation, and I don't even want to be the one that's like talking about this. Like, 'cause, you know, sometimes I think those channels are just kind of stroking their own ego when they do like just full on deep dives of conspiracies. But you can't help but like really, like, just think like how carefully planned all of this was, right? So this guy shows up, knows the guy's schedule, clearly knows how to use a firearm, has a silencer, walks up behind him slowly, bang, 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 racks the gun again, unjams it, bang, 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 walks away, scooters away, and then like then he's distracted by people at like a McDonald's. Like, what? He like lets it, what? How? I mean, adrenaline, sure. But like this to me started out as someone like looking like professional, like this guy, whoever did this was a professional, and then the guy they caught is a fucking amateur. You know? Like, that's what I see. So that to me is bizarre. Start off looking pro, and then suddenly we're like, it's like amateur hour, and he's like signing autographs. He wasn't really signing autographs, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like this. It feels like he's signing autographs to people. Yo, what's up, the Beast? If he's just a patsy, yeah. Like, yeah, it's so bizarre to see. Government pro hit with a patsy chaser. We've seen this before. Yeah, like it definitely seems that way. The Beast, also, I wanted to say, I knew you were going to be here, so I wanted to say thank you for keeping me in check with so on Twitter. The Beast was like, I had made a tweet about, I forget what it was. Oh, I shared Nasmer's video about Grums being a grifter, and the Beast, being the brother he is, said, you know, what's your definition of a grifter? He was very respectful. I answered him. He understood. So that's the kind of stuff I like to see. I like to see people engaging in like good faith, just asking. He's not being an asshole. He's just saying, hey man, I trust you, I like you. What's your definition, so I know what we're working with, and we're not just calling people shit. So will there ever not be a psyop? Bro, it's like I think there's always gonna be one. What up, Ben? Why do you believe the guy caught couldn't be the murderer just because he got caught? No, it seems everything seemed really professionally done and very carefully planned, and like suddenly it's like sloppy. Like at the finish line he stumbles. Like, again, I understand adrenaline's a thing. We live in a digital age. Everything is like cataloged. You can see everything. But this guy had like everything planned out. Like the way he went about it, like you have to meticulously plan this. And his handling of everything, his demeanor leading up to it, like it's not there's no way that was a crime of passion. The way that guy walked up to him, like calm, collected, did his business, and then now all of a sudden it's like this kid who has like a bone to pick because he got denied health care. This doesn't, in a manifesto to boot. Like, the manifesto was almost like the trigger in me saying, like, come on now. Like, I mean, again, the manifesto would signal to me that this obviously isn't a crime of passion. It's been laid out and he's thought about it. But again, all seems too convenient that he was caught when he was. Like, this to me was leading up to being like somewhat of a manhunt. Now, I'm just talking about this stuff. Like, could it be him? Absolutely. Totally could be the guy, start to finish. Yeah, like if that was a crime of passion, and the guy was like, "Oh, I found this guy," he would have walked up to him, like the gun would have jammed, he would have been like, "Fuck," and like, you know, just totally fucking went crazy. I think he was a UPenn grad, he was well-off family with everything. His face wasn't even covered in the house. Yeah, like that. It's just bizarre. Like when you go through, like, it's not like you're offing someone of unimportance. Like, the dude was a CEO of like one of the biggest healthcare providers in the U.S. and world, and like, again, this is like, it's something that you know, in my opinion, you have to, like, you don't just like expose your face so easily while doing that, or even leading up to it. I really do think that the government has improved MK right now. It's possible, and I mean possible largely because there's so many ways to like reprogram people. The internet, you know, social networks. All right, to be good, brother. It's so bizarre. Like, the messaging, like Mockingbird is like still going on. Like, you have to believe like Mockingbird is still going on. Everything was perfectly planned out, but he has his face on video. It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't add up. Yeah, like, it can happen that way. Like, that's where I want to be like. That's where I want to be clear. Like, I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just discussing it and like allowing other people to, like, you know, fill in the blanks or whatever. But like, it's very unlikely and convenient that it happened the way it did. Like, it is certainly possible that he could have done this, but it doesn't add up. That's the thing for me. It doesn't add up. Someone in this situation who's gone through this sort of planning and, you know, who has a manifesto, like, they're, and again, the same thing with the dude who shot at Trump. Like, I look at that stuff and I'm like, this doesn't add up. And like, why was that guy's like identity like digitally scrubbed off of like social media? You know, like, what is it about these things that are like we can't have access to, or anyone for that matter? Those are like, that's the kind of stuff that I think people, like, it's a healthy thought to have. Like, I should be able to like still see what this guy said, or I should, you know, like, who is this person? Why can't I find any information on him? Why aren't we allowed to go investigate X, Y, and Z? And those, I think those are healthy questions to have. It doesn't mean I'm like strapping a tinfoil hat on and going for the wildest conspiracy. Like aliens came down and whispered to this guy to off the dude because he wouldn't pay for his pins in his back. But see, since this guy seems more right wing, they're showing all information about him, unlike Trump shooter. Yeah. Maybe he showed his face on video to make people really look into possible foul play. I don't know. It's like, and the other thing is like, some people, I've heard a couple people say that he wanted to get caught. I'm like, that doesn't, if he wanted to get caught, he would have like done what he did and knelt down there with his like manifesto in his pocket. Like, why walk away if you want to get caught? Like, you're in the middle of Manhattan, make a martyr of yourself right there in front of everybody. Like, show the world you're too. I mean, you show the world your conviction if you really believe what you're doing. I don't know, man. It's the whole situation is a bit nutty, and there's even I even saw a lawyer talking about how he's like, this almost looks like a spousal hit, you know, like there was something happening and like the spouse, like, you know, she wanted to pay out, and I was like, oh shit. It's a schizo way of thinking, like, let them find me. Yeah, so I don't know. It's to me this looks more like a corporate hit, because they even had, yeah, right, yeah. They even had the meeting. So the meeting the guy was on his way to, they still had the in-person meeting after that guy's laying on the floor bleeding out. So, like, what was this dude? Did this dude grow a conscience and he was about to release some information about the company? There was speculation there too. I saw was that he was about to come out with something. I will admit I saw that on a video. I saw someone made a video about it, that they still had the meeting that day in person. So I can't verify that. I will admit. But would that surprise you though? Like, let's be honest. Would that surprise you in this case? And if that were the case, that to me would be like, okay, hold on, wait a minute. But that's the beauty of this conversation, is that I can say stuff like that because we're just talking. I'm not saying definitively one way or the other that a thing is a thing, but I think it's fun to discuss whether this could be. Of course they had the meeting. It was on the schedule. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. These are the juicy things that people really look at. And this is what spawns, like, movies and video games and all that stuff, is that real life is just, you know, these video games are just exaggerated real life scenarios. And, you know, but like you said, Trey, like, so the government's been involved in, like, whether it's experimenting on their citizens, and we've just seen these things in the past. Is it possible? Sure. It's a lot harder these days, I think, to pull these things off successfully. And maybe that's just it. It very well could be that we caught the right guy, and, you know, he'll go to trial and he'll pay for what he did. Yeah, it certainly seems like it at times. You know, again, I don't like to just default to, like, the very worst thought, you know, on things. You guys know that. I don't necessarily just want to go immediately black-pilled, but as soon as I saw, literally as soon as I saw that they had caught this guy and that he had a manifesto, I heard those two things and I thought, no way, this isn't the guy. This is a patsy who happens to look like very similar to the guy, but is not the guy. Side note, what crazy is people in corporate or business cubicles literally die on the job. They just ignore the person until the corpse starts smelling. Yeah, that's happened. That's what's even crazier is shit like that has happened. We had 4 different pictures of the shooter. Yeah, they all look like, to me, you know, regular old me, like at least 2 of those pictures looked like a different person. Very similar, but different. And it could be lighting, angle, like, the grain on the camera. But like, it's a fairly high, like, it's a pretty good resolution that they're taking these pictures with. But you're also taking up, like, there's also this. You ever seen a picture of someone's full face and then this? It looks totally different. A lot of times, it's very hard to tell someone just by their eyes. But the alternative is you have someone so unhinged who totally lost the plot, and then, you know, they get caught because they spend too much time in the McDonald's because they're hungry and they want to flirt with the, you know. Pictures of different people had me thinking they were just trying to cast a wide net. No, and that's possible that they, you know, they threw that out there, like, hey, this is what the guy looks like. We have a couple people who look, you know, about right. Like, I mean, I want the person caught for sure. They deserve to be caught. The McDonald's cashier recognized him as no shot. I'd call BS. Yeah, that was, you know, I don't know if you've been to McDonald's recently, but not exactly the highest caliber individual working. But it just goes to show that most of those people are just on their phones and not doing their job. So, nay to $15 an hour for McDonald's workers. Should be on your phone looking for fugitives, you fucking retards. Get back to learn how to press the fry button. Learn how to press the heat the burger button. Eating my McFries right now. Nice, man. Hey, I'm not saying you're retarded if you eat McDonald's, but now we've all worked at that job at one point or another, but a lot of us were smart enough to get out of that at one point. And before someone like clips me saying that working at McDonald's is like awful, you know, working at McDonald's is necessary. We got to feed people. But you should have goals outside of McDonald's. Just like this guy. What do you think about the shooter having the gun on him? Yeah, that was the other thing. He still had the gun on him? You're telling me that this guy, like, the most professional I've seen anyone off someone else, and the dude just kept the gun on him? He had no plan for the gun? Like, I'm sorry, anybody who's thought out, wrote a manifesto, must have an idea of where they're putting that thing once they're done using it. Like, dude, you just shot a CEO in cold blood. Get rid of that motherfucker. There's a river a few blocks east. And again, it just goes to show, if this guy really wanted to be a martyr, if he really wanted to be caught, he would have done this thing. He would have knelt down with those bullet casings next to him, with his hands behind his head. Like, I know that's some Hollywood shit to say, but goddamn, if you, like, you want to send a message, you want to say to people, I'm here and I meant to do this and I want to just get caught, then you kneel down with your hands behind your head and you chill. Like, why walk away so calm, cool, collected? The dude was away. He was gone. And then this? I don't think so, man. Did they set this dude's family up for life or something? Does he have a kid we don't know about that's going to be like a billionaire tech junkie that's going to take over Twitter and then ruin our lives? Is that where we're at? Bro, I just strapped that fucker on. I just strapped that tinfoil hat on tight. Yeah, there's no way. No way, man. No way you hold on to that gun if you want to get out of there. Yeah, no, and that's the other thing. The river is never a good idea. Shag's too traceable. Yeah, I know. But like, but even again, even if you did like understand that, like that is an option that you could have just, but for some reason, like was he on his way to the trash compactor and he just forgot, like, oh, I was just hungry, I needed that gabagool real quick. I don't know. I don't even know why I said he went to McDonald's. Yeah, and then like learning about his family being so loaded, I'm like, man, like, I mean, I can understand being disenfranchised. Like, it's not to say you can't be disenfranchised by wealth when you have money, and like, especially if, he gets pins in his back, he's denied the healthcare by United. Okay, if that's real, like, but your family probably paid for it. Like, it must take way more than that to become disenfranchised with the healthcare system or just power in general. Like I know it happens. No, and they aren't. They're not guaranteed to give their kids money. But like, something was going right in this kid's life, and he was receiving something. Like, he was. I mean, he went. From what I have read, he's gone to like some of the best schools around, like one of the best private schools in Baltimore. Graduated from UPenn with a bachelor's and a master's, which is nothing to shake a stick at. It's not cheap. I didn't realize that UPenn was an Ivy League school, but that's me. That's on me for my ignorance. But even that seems like a stretch. That, like, it's not like he was a super rich kid that was like on the outs with his family. Like, how else do you, like, did he grow to resent his family so much that maybe they forced him in the education? Right, like, that was just one of those, like, I guess they consider it Ivy League, but it's not what I think of when I think of Ivy League. It is definitely a top-notch school, like, there's no doubt. I just did, like, if it I don't know, he was a valedictorian. He did the valedictorian speech at his high school. It was like a really, really like prestigious one in Baltimore. Like, it doesn't, y'all, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. And hey, what up, Sketch? Hey, listen, I get it. Like, it very well could be. It very, very well could be that this is our dude. If you're doing the math, it's not there. I'm sorry. It doesn't add up. And I want it to, because let's deliver justice where it's supposed to be. But I don't know, man. Math ain't mathin', brother. Yeah, like, and here's the thing. And when you get into stuff like this, right? When you have someone who's like highly intelligent, disenfranchised with capitalism, I guess is what they were saying, disenfranchised with the healthcare, it's hard to trace the genesis of all of this, right? Well, this is why it adds up, because of A, B, and C. Like, this is where conspiracies run rampant, is because you almost cannot trace where this comes from. I mean, unless he directly writes it down, but even this manifesto, I'm not convinced that it's this kid. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like even manifestos can't be trusted. Does anyone else think that? Anyone else think that like manifestos are just kind of like, I don't know, they're sus at best? Yeah, this guy, man. Yeah, like suspicious at best. Wharton Business School at University of Pennsylvania was at one point was ranked higher than Harvard School of Business. Oh, okay. Oh, and that's where the Wharton School of Business is. Okay. Nah, manifestos are cringe, but it's probably the most obvious example of someone spelling things out for us. Yeah. No, you're probably right. Like, if it is in fact his, right? And this, again, this is where the conspiracies run, is like, how do we know that he wrote? Did he handwrite it? Can we confirm the handwriting analysis that it is his? Oh, it came from a computer? Okay. Can we trace it to his computer on his day, on like a certain day that he was there? Can we verify that? Or are we just taking a piece of paper that stuff printed on it that has his name at the bottom as like, he wrote this? How do we know it wasn't done under duress? Like, again, this is all stuff that, like, in my imagination, I'm like, I should just take this and make a real cool story about it. That's what I'm seeing. None of it seems like real life. And I know I'm not alone. The thing is, like, so many people have lost faith. Supposedly it's handwritten. Well, great. If it's handwritten, cool. Penmanship and all. Well, we have him in custody too, right? We can totally ask him and cross-reference with other stuff he's written. This is true. Yeah, and if that's the case, great. Wait, I guess you gotta do that. You gotta verify. Again, was it done under duress? Was it not? That's the crazy part, is it seems like nothing is verifiable in a way that, like, will satisfy most people. And the biggest problem, I was just starting to say, the biggest problem is that we're here even talking like this. Like, we're sitting here talking about like a major news story, and we can't even trust that what we're hearing is real. That shit is wild. That we're in that right now, and it's been this isn't anything like new necessarily, but we can't even trust this. Like, every single person is sitting there like Charlie from It's Always Sunny, just trying to link everything together. Like, that's where we're at. I think a lot of people pushing. We can't distrust a handwritten manifesto, or trying to make up a boogeyman to scapegoat instead, or are just chasing ghosts. I'll take the manifesto at face value until otherwise. I think that's fair. I mean, I think that's fair. I would trust a handwritten note over something that's like typed out. Like, that's just me personally. But there's validity to what Trey is saying, in that you can fake handwriting, you can study it. But that adds a layer of something to this that I don't think is, like, I think we're really starting to get out of the scope. And I don't know if that's necessarily should be the deal breaker in my head, but as you add more and more layers to this stuff, and the conspiracy and how it could be, like, that's where I'm like, okay, I need to back up a little bit, because you do have to apply Occam's razor at some point. It's easier that this guy is the patsy, and that the guy that really did it looked very, very close, and is just, he's off somewhere, the professional hitman, and this guy is somehow taking the fall for it for whatever reason. He very well could have been the person behind all this, but it's just not believable that someone intelligent enough to even just be admitted to UPenn, let alone get a master's from there, would be dumb enough to have his face on cam, and yeah, that those two things right there are like those are things you do when there's a crime of passion, and that's not what this was. At least it didn't start off that way. Like, this started off as a cold, calculated thing, which may have come from some passionate place, I suppose, but it wasn't like this guy just like found him that morning, ran up on him, did what he did, and then got away without anyone really questioning anything. You know, like that's what I mean, is like it's really hard to believe that. I can believe that this kid was completely disenfranchised with the world. I think a lot of people have like gone down the black pill route and have like totally like just lost hope in the system, especially in healthcare. You know, totally. Counter question: if it's not the kid, who then? Does anyone think would actually be behind it? And that's the question, because then you're in like sort of a JFK sort of situation where, like, how many shooters did you have? Like, this guy gets away, but they're able to sort of sneak this other guy in a very similar path. Like, it wouldn't be nearly as hard if you have this guy planted somewhere else. But then you have to find like this other guy's entry point and exit point. But this guy knew the route to take to get out of there without being seen. And then suddenly he's seen. Doesn't add up. So the guy who did the original crime gets away and knows exactly how to get away without being seen while doing so. I think they tracked his scooter. Like, I think someone, like a private individual, tracked the scooter that he used. But other than that, you have no facial of the person, which is, again, bizarre. But I think this is the problem. I'm not sure. Like, yeah, you could say U.S. government, but it's also like you're just. I think you're just in a Kennedy style. Oh, he had the wrong scooter. Okay, well, that's good to know. So he gets away. So essentially, this guy gets away unseen. The original guy. And that's it. So, yeah, again, you have almost a Kennedy-style conspiracy of, like, who was where, how many people were involved, and, like, you'll likely never know. So it's really difficult to. His only defense is that all the cash in a waterproof bag was planted on him. Yeah, but even then, even if he thought he got away, like, why? Like, come on now. Even if he saw the reports of it and thought he got away, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you would still be going. Like, if you're able to walk away from a hellacious crime scene like that and get out of there, what's to stop you from just continuing on? Your face is completely covered, no one can see you. Like, you have free reign of the United States and the world, basically. Get on a plane, go somewhere else. Go to some non-extradition country. If that kid really has all the money in the world, get the hell out of there. Why wouldn't he say the gun was planted on him? If he was... Yeah, that's what I thought too when I first saw that. So there were different kinds of bags. That was the initial thing I saw. Sorry, I'm kind of trying to keep up with the conversation. Traffic's light. Yeah, so there's so much, dude. There's so much stuff here that is like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Who could it be otherwise? It could be any number of people. But this to me signals professional. The first 90% of it was professional. And in the last 10%, the part that mattered was amateur hour. If we believe everything that's presented to us. No, okay, don't get me wrong. This is just YouTube. I'm just thinking out loud. We're just having fun, playful banter. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm not questioning our government or legal system. Not even a little bit. I'm just saying it's something to think about. These are questions. These are healthy questions that I think people are asking, and discussions that are being had. Whoa, hold the phone. Ah, shit. I'm just asking. I'm a chill guy. Yeah. Not a madman. I'm not trying. Like seriously. Like in all seriousness, too. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like these are things I literally think about because I'm not someone who usually engages in like crazy web conspiracy theories, but this one had me fucking puzzled. Like I just thought, there's no way, dude. Like I don't believe this for a second. I just don't believe it happened the way we're being told it happened. I just don't believe that this guy was involved. U.S. government, United States government. I think he's making the case that the government was involved in this, so it was somehow a professional hitman. I don't know if it's so. I'll make my position clear. I don't know if it was. I don't think it was the U.S. government. I think it was a professional who hired that professional. Likely seems to come from the corporate side, in my opinion. If I were to speculate in any sort of way, it comes from the corporate side. That's my thought on it. Anything's possible. But the case that Trey will make and that, I can agree with is the U.S. government has done a lot of experiments on its citizens in the past. It's created lies that have cost many lives. Gulf of Tonkin, MK Ultra, Tuskegee experiments, to just name a few. Those are like the most well known. Those are reasons not to trust what the government says. If it was corporate, why are the other healthcare agencies afraid because of this act? Well, if it's corporate just within UHC, or it could be that, again, this conspiracy is probably way more far-fetched, is that, again, that this guy may have grown a conscience and was going to come out and say something that would have harmed UHC in some sort of way. And, in order to keep big health at bay, or in order to keep big health together, these guys conspired to get rid of it. Again, that's totally unsubstantiated, but I don't know if it's much farther fetched than anything else that we're talking about. My truck is so damn hot right now. Holy crap. Everyone's so impatient. I'm going like 80 on the freeway, and everyone's like, "Oh no, I gotta get through faster." Because if I get into an accident, I want to make sure the metal and plastic on my car turns to dust. I would say it's more, I mean, the overall distrust of the government and things that they've done in the past could indicate that it could be happening now. Except that the negative numbers are an abstract term that we accept for true. Yeah, it's nuts, dude. And like, again, they drive so fast. It's like, what are you where are you in a rush? Like, I'm going 80 miles an hour. There's like, or almost, I'm going like 78. And I'm like keeping up with everyone. So, and like, we're passing people in the middle lane. Like, I don't know where you're going, bro, but they're going slower than we're going. So just chill. I wore my fucking CPAP machine for the first time in like 2 months last night. It was really good. I got good sleep, but damn. That thing is just annoying. It's like pressing air through your nose. I just got the small one, I guess. Maybe healthcare companies know how crappy policies are. And all these just big pharma. It's all about money and not, yeah, I mean. No, we don't. No, we think this kid's. No, I think we believe this kid's a patsy. But I think, I think kids are definitely indoctrinated in these institutions. There's no doubt about it. But this kid, for all intents and purposes, definitely comes from a more conservative background, especially with his education. Now, again, could you turn tides? Sure, of course. I'm trying to think of how I would word this. I know you're not responding to me, Sketch, but I don't think this kid is directly involved with it, other than like someone put him there to take the fall for someone else who could have been tied to either directly to the corporate world or to what's it called, the government. And don't put this past the government, Sketch. And here's how I'll defend it. There's a great book you should read called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. So this guy, it's a true story. It's about this guy who was employed to go all around the world to essentially set up infrastructure plans for countries, for third world countries, in order to like essentially indemnify them to the United States. So we had like strong economic control over their leaders. And when the leaders didn't fall in line, they would send in jackals to take them out. Like these are real situations that, again, we set up infrastructure in third world countries, South America, overseas. This stuff happens at the behest of the government, because we go there with a smile on our face saying, hey, we want to help you guys, but we can't, these countries can't afford to pay us. So we set up all this infrastructure, do all this stuff for them, with U.S. companies, and then they're stuck doing our bidding. They have to kind of go along with what we want. And when they don't, when these leaders defy, that's when we send in people to kill them. So it's not below them to do something like this, to involve themselves in something like this. Now, are you going to find like a direct like figurehead in government that's like doing this? Likely not, but the strings are being pulled from there. And a lot of times they're pulled from these NGOs, non-government organizations that have ties to government. So they're not owned by like the government, but they're essentially controlled by someone who is involved with government, and essentially making them a government organization, because they can the people within government have some inside knowledge that they're passing, and blah blah blah. This happens a lot. So again, is it right? No. Is it like Shag's doing a 180 by saying government obfuscates, but thanks to CEO directing a company can't obfuscate his decision. Sorry, I can't. No, I guess he can. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm just talking. I'm just talking as things are coming. I'm like, you know, things might be changing. In some ways, I'm trying to defend like what you're saying, but while battling traffic. Okay. Unless I got proof of that, I'm gonna agree to disagree. Read that sketch. Read that book. Go. It's actually a really good audiobook too. Like I listened to the audiobook twice. Confessions of an Economic Hitman. It'll totally change your perspective on how we do things like abroad and like the kind of people that have been involved with our government. Again, I'm not saying by and large that's like every person in government is made up of people like that, but these are things that the government does, and you can look up. So you can look up things like the Gulf of Tonkin. It was a lie perpetuated by the government in order to get us into the Vietnam War. So hundreds of thousands of lives are lost because of a lie. The Tuskegee experiments was experimenting on African American Air Force pilots, right, with syphilis, and then the MK Ultra program was using LSD to invoke mind control in certain people. This is also it's been declassified. Charles Manson was a suspected person behind, like, involved in this. Even Jack Ruby? Yeah, Jack Ruby as well. There's actually a book called Chaos that's really good, by Tom O'Neill, that goes into the MK Ultra program a lot. It mainly centers around Charles Manson and his trial and life and stuff, but it talks a lot about the MK Ultra program. For sure, worth reading both of those. The Chaos is really long, but Confessions of an Economic Hitman is a very digestible, easy read. It's a very interesting subject matter because, again, these programs all existed, or they were all fantasy at one point, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, actually MK Ultra, like, all this stuff was declassified, and there's speculation that there was a whole bunch of stuff within MK Ultra that was not actually, that was said to have been lost or destroyed, but was like later found. I forget exactly how it went, but this is some really bad shit. Really, really bad shit. People, like, unknowingly being experimented on, and the government, like, admitting afterwards. Oh, I just sorry, I didn't see it recording. Does the CPAP actually help you sleep better? I have obstructive sleep apnea and I haven't. Yes, it does. So yeah, it does. It's definitely worth it. So here's the thing. You do, like, I used to not wake up, but I would still have, like, obstructive sleep apnea. Mine's not that bad. I only have about, like, I think it's like 12 episodes an hour, which is like low medium. But it definitely has helped me sleep better, because even though I'll, like, wake and be aware that it's on, I'll go right back to sleep and I just feel much more refreshed. And when I use it for an extended period of time, I don't get those, like, really sleepy moments when I'm trying to read in the evening. Fair enough, but as long as you're the ones making that claims that the kid is attached to a plot, that's proof is on you to present. I mean, yeah, of course. I'm just talking about it too. Like, It's more of like a, hey, what's going on? This doesn't add up. Why doesn't it add up? That's where I'm at with this shit. It's not the falling asleep sketch, because the obstructive sleep apnea generally means that when you sleep on your back, like especially if you have excess weight on your neck, the weight holds back and it pushes your trachea down and causes your it causes you to stop breathing. So the only way to around that is like you can fall asleep, but you like stop breathing. So you need the CPAP machine to blow the air basically consistently through your airways, and there's like a little bit of moisture in it, and you're just breathing it through the night, and it helps keep that airway open so you don't stop breathing, because the lack of oxygen is what's so bad about it. Going to the gym and losing weight has helped me. Yeah, totally. The going to the gym and like losing weight is a huge factor in clearing up sleep apnea. It is one of the best ways you can do it. And this holiday season, I've been very bad with my diet, and I'm just starting to get on it. Like, here's my lunch, and I got some water. Like, I was really bad about keeping my diet in check, and I've gained weight. I've gained probably 8 pounds, and I need to get on it, doggone it. I've been eating eggs for breakfast, eggs with a little cottage cheese, and then I sprinkle some Parmesan cheese and salt and pepper for flavor, just a little bit, like not even like 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. But anything like protein rich. Step 1, do a full range of motion, Olympic lifts, deadlifts. 2, sugars, processed carbs, profit. Yeah. Well, I mean, exercise is really good. Diet is so important. Like, if I've learned one thing, is that if you want to see real like results with your like body transformation, removing processed sugars and carbs where you can, but like high protein. You need protein, especially if you're lifting. And if you're not doing that, you're not going to see results like fast enough. But soda, get rid of soda. Don't drink fucking soda. It's so bad for you. If you're gonna have sugar, just eat fruit. Like, just get a thing of strawberries. Get a thing of strawberries. Fucking pound some strawberries. Diets will shed all that unneeded weight, like in the beginning, really fast. Yeah. I'm a side sleeper too. My rare condition is a form of autoimmune vasculitis that causes tissue to necrotic, and it affects the respiratory system and sinuses. I usually always need to gain weight. Yeah, it's hard. It's, CPAP will help you though. If you can find a way to get it, if you can find a way to get it. Yo, Silvar, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Yeah, you gotta, exercising is just huge. You got here just in time for me to go. I apologize. I just got to my office. I got to get in and start doing some work. Thank you guys. Tomorrow on my channel, the official, like, basically episode of, we got another episode of plot points and power-ups. We're going to be talking about Die Hard and Die Hard 2, and which is the better Christmas movie. So if you want to be a part of that, maybe watch those movies between today and tomorrow, and we'll talk about them. Because I think, well, you'll find out what I think tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. But yeah, you guys have a great night. I got to go to work. Be good. Be cool to one another. Silvar, is really good to see you, man. It's been too long. Y'all be good. Thank you, Trey. Thank you, Courtney. Sketch, good talks. The Beast was here. We had a whole bunch of peeps. Thank you so much, y'all. I gotta run.